Germany versus Austria is, I think that's the most important thing to do right now for this class, is to understand the difference between the two side by side. And we did have one from Germany and one from Austria in this tasting. And let's talk about the different regions and see if we can tell which would be which. Generally speaking, the Austrian Rieslings will be drier than the Germans. Germany does make Trocken wines. Dry wines are called Trocken. T-R-O-C-K-E-N. Trocken. And obviously we had one today because they were both totally dry. The Austrian wines are going to be higher in alcohol. They come from a warmer climate than Germany. So they're going to be higher in alcohol. They tend to coat your palate, your mouth more. Huge minerality, but all Riesling should have huge minerality. So that's no difference. Germany tends to have more sweetness, will be lower in alcohol. They all have high acidity. Tends to be prettier, more delicate, more elegant. Pretty delicate looking.
Isn't that what you were saying last week? Like, if they were like the Germany is more like feminine.
Yes.
And Austria is more masculine in terms of
yes.
Riesling.
Yeah, I did mention that, didn't I? Yeah. Even though we weren't talking about Germany and Austria, or Germany in the Gruner Veltliner class. Oops, my tangents. Oops, my tangents. So, from those descriptors, can we tell which one was German, which one was Austrian?
This one's German.
The third one is German? Agree or disagree?
I feel like the second one was German.
Why?
This one seemed to be just more... It seemed a little drier and also a little more pungent. And a
Why
little
do you think
brighter.
number 3 was German?
This one seems softer to me. Just more flowy, warmer.
Circle takes a square. So, number 3 is a little bit lighter in alcohol, I would wager. We'll have to look at it. It's not the most extreme difference here. We're trying Trocken wines next to each other. We're also trying from a particular region that has the highest alcohol in Germany, pretty much. So, not the easiest separation. But it still tasted prettier to me. Wine number 2, and we can go back and taste it. There's plenty left. Wine number 2 tasted a little bit more masculine to me, even though the color was lighter. The wine itself was a little bit heavier, a little bit more mouth coating to me. Whereas this wine was a lot prettier and brighter, more about the fruit, wine number 3. So even if we don't have sweetness, we still have that fruit. Even in the Trocken wine, it's pretty interesting. So wine number 3 is the lights. Trocken lights. Which we sell on the list here for, what, like $110 a bottle. 2007. It is 12.5% alcohol, which is pretty high for Germany. And wine number 2 was the Solomon, both 2007s, also 12.5, but I perceived it as being a little bit higher. This wine is great too. 2 great wines, both from the same importer, Terry Thies. So let's talk about Germany. We spoke about Austria a lot last time because of the Gruner Veltliner. So let's speak more about Germany this time for the few minutes we have remaining. In Germany, they measure the potential alcohol of the grapes. So they go out and see how sweet the grapes are. Do you remember what potential alcohol would be? What in a grape would show you what the alcohol might be?
Sugar.
Sugar, yeah. So they measure the sugar. They call it Oxley. And they tell you, don't ask me how to spell it. O-E-C-H-S-L-E, Oxley. I think that might be right. Don't worry about that. So they measure the potential alcohol, and then they rate it according to that potential alcohol. And this is important to note. It's called the Pradikant levels. Pradikant, maybe Pradikant. Pradikant, Pradikant levels. The entry level is called QBA. QBA. Bless you. QBA is sort of like table wine, just the entry level, QBA. Then the next level, or the first level of like really super premium wines is called Cabernet. Kabinett. I think there are 2 T's on it. Cabernet. And that's sort of the entry level for super premium. The next level above that is called Spätlese. Spät as in late. Spatlese. Spätlese. And spät actually, it rhymes with and means late. Spät equals late. Lese means picked. So, late pick. That means that they literally go through and pick the grapes a little bit later than they do for the Cabernet wines. A little bit later, a little bit riper, more sugar, more potential alcohol. The next level is called Auslese. Aus as in house. Auslese. 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 Yeah, that's right. Aus means out. Lese is picked, out-picked. So we're talking picking just the ripest bunches. So instead of just going through and picking late, they go through and they see which bunches are really ripe, and they pick out just the ripest bunches. Auslese. When you're talking Auslese level, you're talking a very ripe wine. Typically, you have some good sweetness. Now, you can find Trocken Auslese, but typically you're looking at sweet wines now. The next level is called Beeren Auslese. Again, can't quote me on spelling, but I'm going to go with B-E-E-R, Beeren Auslese. Auslese. So, you see you've got the Auslese word, but we've attached Beeren in front of it. So that means berry, outpick. So outpick like Auslese, but first Beeren, berry, outpick. That means they go through and they pick just the ripest berries from the ripest bunches. Now we're talking dessert wine. I've never seen a Beeren Auslese that wasn't really sweet. They pick out just the ripest berries from the ripest bunches. It's also going to be very time-consuming, very hard work, so much more expensive once you get to Beeren Auslese. You're talking pretty expensive wines. The highest level of ripeness, leave some space, is Trocken Beeren Auslese. So that word trocken means dry, and then Beeren Auslese, B-E-R-E-N-A-U-S-L-E-S-E. Trocken Beeren Auslese. So if Auslese means outpick, Beeren Auslese means berry outpick. Trocken Beeren Auslese means dried berry outpick. So they take just the ripest berries from the ripest bunches, they lay them on straw mats, and they dry them further on these straw mats. Trocken Beeren Auslese wines are super sweet, are among the most expensive wines in the world. Also, because they're dried out on these straw mats, they're always dark. I've never seen a Trocken Beeren Auslese that wasn't very dark or caramely in color. Super sweet wines. And with all that labor, super expensive as well. These are also among, if not the longest aging wines in the world. Any wine, these age as well or better than any wine in the world. Anybody know the one style that I skipped here.
Hallertrocken?
I'm sorry?
Hallertrocken?
Halbtrocken and Trocken. Well, we didn't talk about those. We'll talk about that in a second. That's another side note. But there's one more in this scale that is off to the side. Ice wines. Ice wines. So in German, it's E-I-S-W-E-I-N. E-I-S-W-E-I-N. Ice wine. And of course, we spell it ice wine. It means, true ice wine means that the grapes were at least Beerenauslese or BA. Instead of saying Beerenauslese, we often say BA. Instead of saying Trocken Beerenauslese, we often say TBA. At least BA in ripeness, but the grapes actually froze on the vines. They were picked while they were still frozen and pressed while they were still frozen, which means the water is ice. So the water stays frozen, and the only thing that hasn't frozen yet is the sugar. So it's kind of like that TBA, they're pressing nothing now, there's no water left. Same thing with the ice wine, all the water's frozen, so they're pressing and getting minuscule amounts of this very clean sugar without the water in it. Again, true ice wine, super expensive, very unique, very distinctive stuff, really gorgeous, and ages really well. Not as well as TBA. Let's talk, Trocken and Halbtrocken. So Trocken means dry. Any idea what Halbtrocken means?
Like half dry.
Half dry. Yeah, halb, half. Yeah, the German language is, we have a lot of Germanic influence in English. So a lot of times you can figure these things out pretty easy. Half dry. So if you're talking about a Trocken wine, you're talking about a dry wine. If you're talking about a Halbtrocken wine, you're talking about a half dry wine. What that actually means is confusing and hard to know. It's like demi-sec and sec in French. Sec means dry in French. Demi-sec means half dry. It's hard to know what that means because some demi-sec wines are pretty sweet. Some Halbtrocken wines have a lot of sweetness to them. It's kind of hard to know exactly where it is unless you know the wine. That's why we are so important.